Hello and welcome to Junior Achievement's virtual speaker series. Today we are going to talk about money and finances and how to make your money work for you and make smart financial decisions. The guest speaker I have with us today is Michael Ralby. Michael is the founder of Ralby Enterprises, a financial consultancy business in Boca Raton, and he has been in the financial business for over 30 years. Welcome, Michael. How are you?
Thank you, Claire. Great to be here. I appreciate you having me on the show today.
Excellent. Well, we're willing to listen to all your expertise you have about making our money go further and how we can make smart financial decisions, especially right now.
Certainly is challenging times out there, and unfortunately, we're all faced with the dilemma of having to stretch the dollar even further, and we do continually get stuck in that position and have that challenge. So excited to talk about it.
Excellent. And I know some of our students listening may have part-time jobs. They may be helping support their families. We know that it takes longer to probably earn the money than it does for youth to spend the money. So I guess my question to you is, how do we prioritize shopping? How do we decide what is a want versus a need?
Good question. Everybody's faced with that challenge every day, but I would urge anybody who's trying to put their finances in order to start off with a budget. You need to know what your needs are opposed to what your wants are, and those are a tough question that you have to ask yourself probably on a daily basis. And if you break it down to a daily basis, but look at it on a monthly basis, I think that that's a very key point. So you should know exactly where your money's going. You should know exactly how much you have coming in, and you should know exactly how much is going out for the essentials, whether that be rent or whether that be your car or your electric bill or all the things that are known as necessities. When you start getting into subscriptions such as the Netflix accounts and all the other stuff, that's where you start to get into the questions, are those needs or wants? And those are usually the first things that go when unfortunately we're over budget. Do we need that subscription? Do we have to pay for this? And is there other ways to save money? How about the easiest one I say is just bring your lunch. If you can save $10 or $15 a day or $6, or you pick that number and you just put that number in a jar, and then at the end of the month, you put that into savings, you'll be so shocked what that number will be at the end of the year. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who he and his partner went out to lunch every day at work. And since they were in the lockdown where they couldn't go anywhere, they started making lunch and they did the math. And for them, it was $10,000 a year.
Wow.
So
well, you even look at a cup of coffee is $5 a day. If you have a coffee every single day, I mean, that adds up, and what that adds up to at the end of the year is unbelievable.
It really is. So if you could turn around and just live without that coffee, or bring your lunch, or unfortunately, if you're a smoker, quit smoking and put those dollars into a kitty as if you actually did it. Fill a thermos and take a cup of coffee with you. Make those sacrifices while you're young and watch. For me, the most unbelievable, beautiful thing in the world that people never talk about is compounding. And if you could learn the power of compounding and at a young age, allow that to work for you, your money will work for you. The two secrets is nothing works harder than money. If you have to work harder than the money, then there's a problem. And the secret is making the sacrifices while you're young, because you'll live without that extra pair of shoes or that feel good at the moment item, that if you just put it away for the long term and recognize what it would be down the road, because we all have such a hard time looking down the road.
Right. And I think the key is also to when you spend money, you write it down, like you said, using a budget, because when you see it and when you see the numbers, it makes so much of a difference.
The biggest tragedy or the biggest challenges faced if you do not have an accounting of what your monthly income is and what you're going to expend, and you get to the 20th day of the month, the 15th day of the month, and you have to make it until your next paycheck, you're either borrowing, living off credit card, or going into debt. And if you do that, you never get out. So the only way to make sure that you don't put yourself in a bad position is to plan. And you have to sit down. And if you could create a couple different buckets, one being my necessity bucket, a bucket for vacation, or a bucket for a night out on a Saturday night, and you just keep putting money in all those buckets, it might take a little bit longer. But if you end up with an investment bucket and you can start putting money into really high quality, good investment while you're very young, you are going to be so thankful when you get to be middle-aged, never mind old. And, it bodes your question, how early? Never too early.
Right. And that's the key, really, is making these decisions now because they impact your future in the long term.
100%.
Excellent.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
I was going to say, no matter what age you are, if you take the time to put a couple of dollars away in a couple different buckets and you label those buckets and you keep adding them up and then try to figure out, whether it be through the help of JA or wherever you can get your guidance on the appropriate vehicles to help you guide your money, then you're going to be much better off in the long run. There are so many available options today that were not available years ago to be able to help you compound and grow. So it is such a fascinating time. It's just a matter of taking advantage. And the big key word is discipline. If you can discipline yourself and, say, I can live without that cup of coffee, or I don't need to go out to lunch today. I got a sandwich. One of my oldest lines that I've always said to my children is that, you trade your whole life, all your time for money. And at the end of your life, you'll get back all your money for more time.
Right.
So enjoy that time, have all that free time. Instead of running out to lunch, enjoy that hour, do something with it,
Well, I'm sure you have many, many more words of wisdom. So I'd love to invite you back to come speak to our students again and, just dig deeper into compounding and buckets. And I think that's a great advice. So please come back again.
Anytime. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Claire.